All right, welcome back to part two of Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. Today, on part two, we have Dr. Maurice Gibson and Mr. Jeremy Sandford, even though I'm sorry I misspelled his name. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
And so thank you all for coming today. I'm sorry, Dr. Maurice Gibson is from the Office of Diversity, and Mr. Jeremy is from the Office of Recruitment. And so today they're going to be talking about the ACT Prep Camp, which is coming up July 9th through 15th on Arkansas State University's campus. So let's get right into how did this come about?
So, several different ways.
Okay.
We always look for opportunities for students and parents to get an opportunity to come to our campus, particularly in the Delta area.
Okay.
And as you may be aware, a couple of years ago, I think maybe 5 or 6 years ago, Arkansas State University raised its ACT score in order to be admitted, which is a good thing.
Okay.
You typically get better prepared students that come to your campus. So it's definitely a good thing. However, what we found out is that some students were not prepared for that ACT, the rise in an ACT score. So probably in the last 2 years, with the assistance of the Office of Recruitment, we thought about different strategies to help better prepare these students to be admitted to Arkansas State University, and not just Arkansas State University, but be prepared for the ACT in general.
Okay, so what is the new or the current score requirement?
So in order to be admitted to Arkansas State University, you have to have a 19 ACT and a 2.3 GPA. So some schools, they have either or, but with Arkansas State, you got to have both.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about, you got this idea together to do the ACT Prep Camp. How are students selected?
So we look at a holistic admission standards or criteria.
Okay.
So we look at basically, they have to do an essay. That's usually the tiebreaker for us. They have to submit their GPA as well as their ACT scores, and we look at their entire profile to best ascertain if the likelihood that they be able to succeed in this rigorous course. So we look at things they've done before, some of the activities they do at school, and again, that essay really helps us determine if these students are really serious about preparing rigorously for the ACT.
Okay, so what types of things are you looking for in the essay?
So the essay was asking them to describe their academic goals and why should they be a candidate for the inaugural ACT Prep Camp. And what we really were just looking for, see where were they at mentally, because we told them that the essay was a strong factor in their selection, and we wanted to just kind of see, because we had some students 1 sentence, we had some wrote 3-4 paragraphs.
1 sentence?
Yeah. So
it's not an essay.
And so you kind of just want to see where they are. So we gave them a very broad prompt, but we wanted to kind of see how they dissected that into, because you can kind of go, some would just say, I want to be this, and I would do anything to get this score.
Right.
Whereas some were very detailed, like I know I struggle in this area. I know this camp will allow me the opportunity to really kind of learn strategies to help overcome that area. And so we really just kind of seeing how would they take this very broad prompt and kind of wow us.
Okay. Right, and that I can see that helps them. That would help them to develop their critical thinking skills as well. Is that something that you will address during this week? Even though ACT, from my experience, I think it's been a while. English, math, and science.
English, math, science, and reading.
Okay, so they will need to really develop those critical thinking skills in order to take that part of the ACT. If I'm not mistaken, and again, please correct me. It's been a long time since I've taken it.
Same here.
Definitely here.
During the reading section, do they have to do long answer form? Is it just all multiple choice? What is the format of the ACT?
So all of it is multiple choice. So for each section, you have so many questions that they're expected to answer in probably 35 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
And basically, with the reading section, it's going to be you have to read these long paragraphs and then be able to answer questions. So, like, what was the main idea, the theme, things of those nature.
Okay, so
now, granted, like I said, it's been a while.
Okay, yes, I wonder if I can even catch. We're gonna move on from that. Okay, so once a student is accepted into the program, what is the next process?
So the next step is they get a a wonderful email from Mr. Sandford saying they've been accepted, as well as some of the paperwork that needs to be completed in order for you to come on campus. So weight liability forms, those types of things. Where you're going to stay, how you're going to eat, and what's really unique about this program is that on Sunday we have a meet and greet with the parents as well, to give them opportunity one to tell them about the rules side of it, of course, but two, just to make them feel welcome on our campus and let them know that there's a place for them as well as their students.
So would the students be staying on campus?
Yes, they will. It's a residential program, so we felt that will help better serve the students instead of you have to commute every day or something like that. So we wanted to provide them the opportunity to kind of somewhat look at it as a cohort. So like these are people like, okay, I know these people. They might not go to the same school, but I know these people. These are friends, so we all decided to come here. Like I already know these people from a program we did during our senior year.
Now I know that it's getting this the last week in June. So have you already cut off the application deadline and start making selections?
The application deadline was Friday. They were notified yesterday.
Okay, so I'm sure there's some very happy students out there getting ready to start packing, getting ready to come.
Right.
Now, once they get on campus, what will a typical day be like during this camp?
So the way it's set up, they would, of course, eat breakfast because you have to feed them.
Okay.
Then the way we divided it up, so most times they group, like English and reading together, then math and science together.
Okay.
So there's a morning component of ACT prep, then from like 9 o'clock, 9:30 to about 11 o'clock, 11:30. Then there's time what we're trying to do is to provide ACT prep, but also kind of showcase the university as well. So we are reaching out to various departments to have them come speak with the students, so they kind of know the services that Arkansas State does offer. So after the morning ACT prep, there will be a presentation time where students would, a department will come in and speak to them. Lunch, then the second part of the ACT prep, then another presentation, and then we after that there'll be dinner, study, kind of like a study hour, just kind of they can kind of test on what they learn, kind of just keep it going.
Okay.
And then it's kind of just open, kind of free time. We want it to be fun, but then also we want them to understand they're here for a purpose as well.
Okay. So will this be every day the same routine? Okay. Now, some students. Okay, first I want to back up. What are the ages of the students that are coming?
These are the vast majority are rising seniors, so going into their senior year. I think there may be a couple of rising juniors as well, but for the most part they'll be seniors. So, that 16, 17-year-old, that beautiful age.
So I would suspect that some of them would think they're going to get a college experience as well.
To a certain point.
To a certain point, okay. So on day one, are you going to say, okay, look, this is what's going to be, this is what it's not going to be?
Absolutely.
We're going to lay the law of the land.
This is what we're not going to do.
That's why we want to make sure we meet with the parents as well before they leave.
To let them know if their child misbehaved, they can come right back up and get them.
So in the event, let's address that. Say it's day 2 and you have someone who is just non-compliant behavior-wise. You're not mine. Whatever, I'm just not going to do this. I don't want to do this. It's not what I thought it was going to be. How will you handle a student like that?
It's definitely that's a great. That's certainly a great question. And one thing we stressed in this is that we had over 120 or so applications for 50 slots. So there are students who although there were 50 happy students on Monday, there were also about 70, 75 unhappy students. And unfortunately, we did not have the resources to have that larger group. But I say that to say that, there are students who really want to be here. So these 50 are, extremely fortunate to be able to take part in this experience. So we hope that we don't encounter any of those negative experiences. However, in the event we do, they do, the parents have to basically sign their waiver form or their their compliance form to say that my child, my student will adhere to all the rules and regulations. And if not, I will be on hand to come back to Arkansas State and whisk them back home. However, we're pretty confident that these are serious students and they're ready to come and partake in everything. Of course, it's a college campus, so we know kids will be kids, and we want to give them some of that that freedom and flexibility within the confines of a very structured program.
In the event that a student is, I guess, ejected from the program, I hate to use that word.
It's okay.
In the event that they do have to be removed, is there a waiting list for students that did not get the opportunity?
So there's a waiting list currently. However, there wouldn't be during the week of the program because you'd have already started on that Sunday, and it'd be counterproductive to insert someone in like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. So again, we're hopeful that everyone will be fine and they'll be on their best behaviors and they'll successfully complete the program.
Now, what if everyone that you have given offers to do not show up? Will you then, maybe call somebody on the list, say, how soon can you get here?
So, we always think about that. We try to be fair, right, to all parties involved. So, up until probably that, I would venture to say that Friday before. So, up until next Friday, basically people have an opportunity to withdraw. But after that period, we wouldn't call somebody on Sunday if only 42 showed up. Again, I don't think it would be fair to put somebody on the spot like that. Now, if it means that it's somebody maybe in Nettleton or Jonesboro, somebody very local, that's a possibility. But we wouldn't, call somebody down in, maybe West Memphis or there and say, get up here at 4 o'clock.
I understand. Okay. We have a couple of Facebook shout out. Well, from Dr. Sharice Jones Branch, and I'm guessing
Jones Branch.
Yes, Dr. Sharice.
Yes.
Good morning, gentlemen. You're doing such good work. Proud to know you. Okay. Well, thank you for checking in with us, Dr. Branch.
She's doing really great work.
Okay, she stays busy.
Very.
To the max. Okay, so let's talk about. Okay. Will you do a beginning survey, an ending survey with the students? Concerning how the program went, their overall feelings.
Absolutely. We're very data driven in the Office of Diversity, particularly when we are providing services to the community. We aren't so stubborn to think that every idea we have is great and wonderful. We want to make sure we have the appropriate data to back up what we're doing. Even if something is great as an ACT prep camp, you would think that, okay, this is wonderful, this is great, an awesome service, but it may not be meeting the true need of our community. So we'll ask the students at the beginning, what do you think about what do you expect to get out of the program, those types of questions. Then at the end we'll also ask them, how was the program, did it meet your expectations, so on and so forth, as we do with most of our programming. And again, we find out new things every year. This is the first year we've done this one, but we've done other programming that we get interesting answers and feedback every year. So we strive to do our best. Working with limited resources, you want to make sure that everything you put out there is getting the absolute best back for your investment.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to say when this one is a success, will you then begin to plan either for later in the year, maybe some not week-long prep classes, but weekend preparatory type?
So the goal, our overarching goal, this ACT prep program is part of an umbrella college access and readiness program that we're instituting at the university. So this is just one of the suite of programs. Our goal is to do 2 of these in the summer. So we'll have 50 maybe in June and 50 in July. But also we would like to set up satellite ACT one-day boot camps around the state. That is the long-term plan. Maybe one down at West Memphis and Marion area. Then Forest City, Little Rock, and so on and so forth. We'd love to make sure we have our footprint across the state.
That's right.
So students know that the Arkansas State University is truly invested in their communities. But 2, we recognize that students all across the state need ACT prep assistance. And again, unfortunately, education is not being invested in like it was once upon a time. So again, we want to make sure that we can utilize our resources in the best effective manner and make sure that these students have a chance. We always say, particularly we're biased, that every student should come to Arkansas State University and get the greatest education possible. The most important for us is that we have an educated populace. So if a student, for whatever reasons, decide Arkansas State is not necessarily the school for them, although I don't know why they would, we still want to help them as well. So our main goal and objective is to educate the populace in the Delta region as well as the greater Arkansas area.
And when you go to the recruitment, do you highlight and address the issues of, okay, how important it is to really buckle down and study, not just get good grades but really absorb the information that you're learning, and how it will help them along through the rest of their life?
So yes, when I go to different schools, I'm always stressing the ACT. I was telling them, even though I personally don't agree with the ACT, I still tell them, this is going to determine scholarships where you can get into a university, so don't play around with it. This is something quite serious. And then also an extra, something I do for my students in my particular territory, I always send them like an ACT prep links.
Okay.
So if I find sites that, provide like that test prep, I'll send it to them. So like if they don't have the score needed to get into Arkansas State, I'll send it to them. If, I kind of send it, I make sure I send it to them, but then I also try to send it to students who, just want to get a higher ACT score so they can go from, one scholarship to the next, or even just to be eligible for a scholarship.
Okay. Now, we need to back up. I didn't ask this question earlier. What were the requirements besides the essay to be accepted? What were some of the other requirements you were looking at?
Sure. Well, chief amongst them was that you would have had to take an ACT before at some point. Okay. And we, it was definitely a difficult decision to make, but we figured that we needed some type of benchmark. Okay. It was more helpful for our data if we at least knew where a student was coming into the program. Okay. Not having taken the ACT, it would be more difficult to understand whether someone has made a gain or not. So that was the number one criteria. And we didn't have a cutoff score. So, whether you made a 28 or 13, we just want to make sure that you knew that you had, we want to make sure that you had taken the score. So we looked at that, and we grouped the students into various categories based on score and GPA. And then out of those categories, we, selected students out of the various categories. So we had a category that was basically from 20 to 28. Okay. And then we had a category from about maybe 16 to 19. Okay. And then we had a category from 15 and below. Okay. I want to make sure we had a mixture of students across the spectrum. So, all the students who had 28s, they didn't get necessarily picked. Okay. All, the students in the middle. So we really want to have a cross section. So that would be more representative of the college. We have students across the full spectrum of ACT scores.
Okay. Now, one thing I wanted to address is, different students learn different ways. Mm-hmm. And so ACT is basically a standardized test. You're sitting, reading, marking answers. To help the students do their best, will you try to address their different learning styles? Some are more auditory, some are more, they can sit and read and comprehend. Will you try to help them strengthen their skills based on the way they learn, so that when they do have to sit and take this test, they can still make the best score possible?
That's an excellent question. And luckily for us, both of our ACT instructors are former high school teachers. I guess they were high school students at some point as well. And they are both current college teachers. Both of them have done ACT prep for years. So they're well versed in not only in the techniques of ACT preparation, but also in bifurcated instruction, being able to differentiate instruction. So we're really excited that we're able to get both of these ladies, and they certainly will. To answer your question succinctly, yes. Yes,
they will.
And one thing that we did, we wanted to provide an opportunity for them to continue to prep after they leave the program. So we sought out an ACT prep book so they can utilize that during the program, but also after they get done with the program as well. Because your mind is always constantly learning. So we want to allow them to come here for the week for the prep camp, but we also want them to have a resource to continue that after they leave.
Now, once the students are done with the camp and they actually go take the ACT for the final time in their own school district, will you follow them and keep tabs on them and see how they did?
We will.
Okay.
We will stay in touch with that counselor. Even try to tell them, hey, senior scored Arkansas State.
Join the Wolf Pack. I'm a little biased. I guess we're all a little biased
Right.
Arkansas State University. All right, so we're going to get ready to take a break, but when we come back, we'll just recap and highlight some information that we went over before. And I'll also have an announcement from Arkansas Early Learning. And starting at 10 a.m., they're going to have a ribbon cutting today at the Geraldine Anderson Center, which is at 1810 Lauderet Drive. So go check out Arkansas Early Learning, and they're also sponsors of Community Conversations. So please go check them out. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. If you're planning to have a baby, you might want to brace for sticker shock. According to figures from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, a middle-income family with a baby born last year will spend more than $241,000 to raise that child to age 18. If there ever was a time to engage in financial planning, choosing to become a parent is it. First, think beyond your baby's due date to get an idea of the annual cost of raising your child. Use tools offered by organizations like the USDA to get an estimate of the incremental cost of parenthood in various categories, such as housing, clothing, and transportation, and then create a budget reflecting those costs. Also, determine what insurance coverage you'll need. Be sure to do your research, starting with healthcare coverage, to make sure your child is covered on your policy from his or her date of birth. Life insurance will ensure that the child is provided for if you or your spouse or partner dies. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We're speaking with Dr. Maurice Gibson and Mr. Jeremy Sandford.
There you did it again.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. They are here from Arkansas State University. Dr. Gibson is from the Office of Diversity. Mr. Sandford is from the Recruitment Office. So they have been talking about the ACT prep camp, and even though the application deadline is passed, stay tuned for more opportunities for your students to get involved in different ACT prep events, I guess you could say. They're looking to expand the program, and hopefully next year they'll have 2 sessions. This year, why did you decide to only do 1, just to kind of see how it was going to go?
Absolutely. Again, doing something new for the very first time. We didn't know, if students wanted it, if they'd come. We didn't know what the what the feedback was going to be. I think Mr. Sandford was telling me 3 or 4 days prior, we had about 27 applications.
So, starting probably this past Sunday or Monday, about 20, 30 applications. About Wednesday, Thursday, it was jumped up about 80. About Friday, it was about 100. I'm like, oh, okay.
So we really thought, we didn't even think we'd fill the first, this first cohort with the 50.
Okay.
So, we're really excited, and that lets us know that, the need is there, that the want is there. So we'll feel confident in doing 2 next year.
Okay. Now, are there any expenses required, like on the students' behalf? I mean, of course, there are personal items and things of that nature, but while they're on campus, for food or anything else?
This, we've looked across the state at various ACT camps of this length,
Okay.
and realized that the ones that we've come across, they all charge. But we're excited that Arkansas State is making the investment in this one, so the students will not have to come out of pocket for any expenses while they're on campus. So basically, their expense will be getting to campus and getting back home.
Okay.
But as far as residence halls, as far as their meal plan, their snacks and things like that during the week, we cover all of it.
Get snacks.
Get 3 meals a day.
Okay, these students should be on their best behavior.
Right,
Exactly.
No one will have to go home. I'm telling you, they're not going to want to go home after this
I'm not
experience.
going to bring someone with them.
But we really hope that all these students do well
Yes.
During this camp, and I would love to follow up to see what the outcome was.
Absolutely.
How the students enjoyed it, if they enjoyed it. Now, will they take not a sample, but a practice test before they leave?
They will. Our goal is for them to take a pre-assessment and then actually take a full-length simulated exam at the end of the week. What we really wanted to do, but the timing was off, was situated to where they'd be able to take the actual ACT exam that Saturday. But again, the timing was off, so we weren't able to do it. But our hope is that in the future, one of the camps will actually be centered around an ACT test, so that they have that the rigorous prep all week and then take the exam.
So are ACT exam days, is it a national thing, all across the United States?
Yes, but also Arkansas State offers the ACT residual exam, and what that is basically the same test, but the scores will only be good for Arkansas State, so it allows them to come to campus and take the national test on the campus. However, the ACT residual only has certain days that you can take it as well. It's not where it's like an on-demand test, so there's only certain dates as well.
Okay, so I really hope that the students really get something out of this. And then what advice would you give to other students who are not coming to the camp but are going into their junior, senior year in high school? They're looking for some extra help, to study. What are some advice you can give them when it comes to studying?
So, my best advice would be every student who's getting ready to take the ACT, get a prep book, some type of, preparation book. There's no such thing as too much studying for this exam. Essentially, it requires you, repetitiveness. So you have to be familiar with the information in order to succeed on that exam. So, I would take as many simulated tests as humanly possible and go in there confident and ready to go.
Okay. And Mr. Jeremy, I know we have talked about this, but it's been about a year, so we might have you come back and refresh some of the recruitment information. When do students realistically need to have their ACT taken so they can apply for college?
So with Arkansas State, in regards to scholarships, the last ACT test date that we'll take is October, so of their senior year, and that allows them to be admissible, to allow for Arkansas State to receive their scores, so they'll be able to qualify for scholarships before our December 1st deadline, which is our institutional scholarship deadline.
Okay.
But if a student still wanted to apply for fall 2017, they could. Our application closes the week before classes start.
Really?
So they still have a time. They still have a great amount of time to apply for this fall, but we try to get them in before that December 1st deadline, only because that's when the vast majority of the money, I guess you would say, is dispersed. So we try to make sure they have those scores in and are able to meet that deadline.
Okay.
I know about that deadline all too well. Because of that, I made it to college.
Oh, well, we can't thank you all enough for coming. So if there are any parents or students out there listening, please start prepping for your ACT. It's never too early. There's so many resources online. What would you recommend, the online prep, prep courses versus buying a physical book from, say, a bookstore somewhere?
I think it all depends. Like you said, it's different learning styles. Some people, online probably would work for them, whereas some would not. So kind of just see what works best for you.
Okay.
So, check what's online, but then also, I know libraries have different ACT prep books.
Okay.
Your counselor office might have them. So just kind of really see what works better for you. Like me, for example, online, not really my thing. So I kind of need, to have that in front of me so I can actually look at it and, be able to, I'm more of a hands-on type person, so you just got to really see what works better for you.
All right, then. All right, well, thank you so much for coming. And I just want to give one more shout out to Arkansas Early Learning. I want to thank them for being sponsors of Community Conversations. Today, the event is called Come Play With Us. Like I said, the ribbon cutting starts at 10 a.m. They will have booths. Individuals can set up booths at 12:30. Play date activities from 1:30 to 3 p.m. The building will remain open to the public until 5 p.m. Refreshments will be served. So go check out Arkansas Early Learning at 1810 Lauderdale Drive. This is their Geraldine Anderson Center today, June 27, 2017. All right, so gentlemen.
So can I do a quick
yes,
shout?
Please. Go.
So just so students are aware, Arkansas State, during a recent Board of Trustees meeting, they did increase the application fee. So the application fee, as of today, is $15, but effective July 1st, it does increase to $30. So, however, students if they are still eligible for an ACT or SAT fee waiver or receive free reduced lunch, they are able to get that fee waived.
Right.
So we just wanted to put that out there.
All right, so take advantage of all of these opportunities for those families that are in low income or live in certain geographical areas. There are options available to you to help ease the burden of taking these exams, applying for college. Don't look at it as a handout. Look at it as a hand up. An opportunity to go towards a goal, a dream that you would like to chase. So you've been tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. This interview, along with the one from part 1, is available on our KLEK Facebook page. So check it out. Everyone have a very blessed day.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program